in this world that we live in the NFL, I understand Bill the last couple years, 3 years in New England. It went south. It did. And part of the reason why it went south, and oh, by the way, Rich, thick limb you're out on there, at 4-13. Did it really go south? And how things went south for Mac Jones. And part of the reason why is Bill had a hand in it. There's just no two ways about it. I mean, to have Mac Jones fall apart, to go from a rookie season in which he damn near beat Tom Brady in Brady's return and had a ton of people wearing Mac Jones 10 jerseys and absolutely was an integral part to the Patriots making the playoffs that year. And he was a Pro Bowl quarterback replacement. And he
was on the NFL Top 100 that year.
And he, I think, deserved all of that because he's a rookie and he's replacing Tom Brady.
Yep.
Okay? Right? And they also bounced Cam Newton to give him the free space, which I thought was a very crucial move by Bill to say, don't look over your shoulder.
Right.
Just talk to Josh McDaniels. He's got you. And we saw what happened. Now, I know they got the doors blown off them by the Buffalo Bills, but that's what's going to happen is you're, trying to find the next Brady, which, by the way, I'll give you a spoiler alert, doesn't exist.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Okay. So, but then to have Josh McDaniels take the job in Vegas and then replace him with two guys that shouldn't be anywhere near your quarterback, that was Bill's decision, one would think, right? And then the next year, the roster was just less than, and he's in charge of the roster. So I understand why things came to an end in New England. You have to understand. You have to understand it. But to say that Bill's not a great coach anymore is beyond the pale, off the charts, missing the point. You're not even close to the bullseye there. The guy knows more football. Like, just look at the cuticle on the smallest finger on your hand.
He's forgotten more than you will ever know.
He is truly unlike anybody I've ever come across. And it's wild that all the NFL teams that had job openings this year, he didn't get one of them. I still don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.
Only interviewed with Atlanta.
I don't get it, and maybe because we don't know the full scope. Did he want the full store again?
Right.
So, but to have this opportunity to have this individual coach your team and turn it down is nuts. Truly. We saw him over this weekend with his son, Steven, who's in Washington. He's the defensive coordinator. Look at this photograph of him in Washington Huskies gear.
It's great.
Well, the sleeves are intact. That's the weirdest thing about
true.
it.
Well, I mean,
no visor either.
Just look at this picture of him
Wearing a hat.
in Washington Huskies gear. And they're so lucky to have him there. And talk to the staff and talk to the kids and be part of the evaluation. You have no idea. Right? You have no earthly idea what that would be like. I do, because I've heard this man talk football on the set of NFL 100, and then this past before his final win of his tenure in New England, in that game in Denver this year, Christmas Eve night. I got a chance to have a broadcast meeting with him, and it was obvious. Like, what are we going to say? Well, how are you going to handle Russell Wilson? What are you going to do? And I decided in that meeting what my opinion was going to be is I want to hear stories from him. And we started hearing stories, and started talking ball, and him and Kurt Warner talking about their Super Bowl that they, played against each other, where he coached against the Rams. We all know birth of the Tom Brady legend, and just hearing him talk football and his passion for it. But then I come back here and I'm like, this guy's not done coaching.
Oh, yeah. So jealous.
Honestly, he knows more about anything than anybody thinks they know.
Right.
And to turn down the opportunity to have him be the head coach of your team, it's just, to me, nuts. Then I guess he showed up in Nebraska. I'm not fully understanding as to why. But boy, are they lucky. And you know who knows it? Matt Rule, the head coach of Nebraska football, who talked about Belichick being around the staff and the team. Hit it.
He is so smart, has seen so much, that he can make the complex so simple that it humbles you and embarrasses you. I was embarrassed yesterday listening to him, how smart he is, how simple it was. He went, he went 4.5 hours with the coaching. Forget the clinic. Like, he came in and met with our coaching staff. And 3.5 hours in, I was like, Coach, would you like a water, a cup of coffee? Would you like to use the restroom? Because I desperately had to use the restroom, And he's like, I'm fine, Matt. I was like, yes, sir. And just sitting there and just talking, right? And just his recall from things 15 years ago. And, the only reason why we don't get through more information is because he's having to slow down to make sure you understand what he's saying. I mean, so you have this man who's a savant, right, who's been a defensive coordinator. He's been a special teams coordinator. He's coached, he could be an offensive coordinator. He's been a head coach twice. He's been a GM person. I mean, he's talking about football in a way that just illuminates things and makes things so simple that you're like, oh my goodness.
I've been there. I've been there in an NFL 100 production meeting. I've been there on an NFL 100 set. I've been there in a production meeting before a game. I know exactly how he feels. Yeah. And I'm not an expert in football, X's and O's like he is. And he's like, he makes me feel dumb. Yeah. Like I'm embarrassed. I'm serious.
They could have got through more. But Bill had to slow down and to make sure they understood.
I've been there. It's Matt Rule. That is a perfect and humble way to describe it.
Coach, you need a water?
No, because he has to go to the bathroom. He's like, no, I'm fine, Matt. And I was like, so I'll hold it in. Yeah. You're going to have to hold it in because Bill's not ready to break class up. I'm telling you.
Bill can't break
and it's not 15 years. It's 50 years. 50. He'll remember stuff from 50 years ago. Didn't I tell you that one time he told this story at NFL 100 to Jerry Rice when Jerry was on the set, that one time Giants, Niners, he's the defensive coordinator, it's Steve Young and it's Rice and whatever, and he was telling everybody, hey, just in. We're not letting Rice beat us in this 2-minute drill with less than 2 minutes to go. We're up. We're not letting Rice beat us. That's not going to happen. And what ended up happening was there was a fumble on a snap, and it turned into a total fire drill. And the Niners recovered it, and the Giants were not ready defensively on the next play because it was such a fire drill, and Rice beat them. And Belichick says he talks to all of his teams about being prepared in a 2-minute drill defensively. If there's a fumble by the opposing quarterback that they quickly recover, be ready because the next play's coming fast. And he uses that moment as an example.
Wow.
To teach his team about being situationally be prepared. So, dude, it's a damn friggin' shame how it ended in New England. Because it apparently bled into his ability to get another job. Which is nuts.
Seemingly, yeah.
I'm telling you, what Matt Rule just said doesn't even explain a small percentage of it. I saw that soundbite from Matt Rule. I was laughing out loud the entire time because I'm like, I get it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.